Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In this presentation, I am going to be setting up a Raspberry Pi 3 Model B, and this is the complete kit. It contains everything that's needed to set it up. The components I'm gonna need to have to set up and install the Linux operating system on here. My lab report is calling for a first I'm gonna open and get out the components. Okay, it's asking for a Raspberry Pi motherboard. That is this right here. A plastic case. Put that on top of there. A plastic clear case. A micro SD card. This is the micro SD card that contains the Linux operating system, and it's a micro SD card adapter that I'm gonna be using. It asks for a HDMI cable. It asks for a USB keyboard and mouse. However, I have a wireless keyboard with touchpad, which would take the place of the USB keyboard, and a micro USB power supply. This is the Raspberry Pi universal power supply. It's a 2.58 5.1 volt micro USB 1.5 meter cable. It asks for an Ethernet cable or micro USB wireless adapter. However, I have all this installed. All this is installed on the motherboard, and I have the power supply. This is the micro USB power supply cable, and this is the download guide, which I'm going to be using this in part 2 pretty much. Okay, the remainder of the lab is going to be in a different room where I'm going to install the Raspberry Pi onto a monitor, which in this scenario I'm gonna be using a TV with an HDMI cable. Okay, here's the components here. Okay, in part 1, step 1, it says gently seat the motherboard in the bottom of the case. First, place the right longer side of the motherboard in the designated area of the bottom part of the clear case, and then press gently the left longer side of the motherboard until the board is seated properly as shown in figure 2. Okay, this is figure 2 right here. This is the clear case, and this contains the motherboard. This is the motherboard box. Okay, I'm gonna open this first. This is exactly how figure 2 has the layout for the case and the motherboard. This is the motherboard. This is all you need to run this system, is this here. Okay, it asks me to first place the right longer side of the motherboard in the designated area of the bottom of the clear case, and then press gently the left longer side. break it, so I'm going to try to not break this. Looks like it's, yeah, it's in there. Okay. Okay, the motherboard is seated properly into the clear case. Once the motherboard is, step 2, once the motherboard is seated properly, you may close the cover case. Okay, this is the cover case here. See, this is the cover case, and it's clear. They asking for it to be clear so we can see all of the components, which is neat looking at that. Okay, I'm going to the next page here. Okay, the Raspberry Pi operating system is downloaded onto the micro SD card. Generally slide out the micro card from micro SD card to SD card adapter, longer card as shown in figure 4. Okay, this is the micro SD card and the micro SD card adapter, and you see here the logo of the Raspberry, which it contains the Linux operating system for the Raspberry Pi. It's a 16 gigabyte micro SD card. It's X2. Well, it's already installed in. Everything's already, I mean, it's in there. So I'm gonna skip that step there. Okay, step 3, insert the micro SD card into the Raspberry Pi card reader or drive as shown in figure 5. And this is figure 5, a picture of the loading the micro SD card. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take out the micro SD card out of the adapter, and I'm going to insert it right here into the micro SD card slot. It's the wrong side. So you can see here the micro SD card is properly installed into the micro SD card slot. Okay, step number 4 is asking us to connect the Raspberry Pi to a display unit. You can use an HDMI cable to connect your Raspberry Pi, which is right here, to a television set or monitor unit. Also, you may use an HDMI to RGB converter to connect it into a older style computer monitor, which is shown in figure 6. This is a photo of the HDMI cable and the RGB converter box, which hopefully I'm not going to need one. I don't think I will have to use one because I have a HDMI cable and I have a monitor with a HDMI jack. And step 5, it asks me to plug in the USB keyboard and mouse. You may either use a standard keyboard or a small keyboard shown in figure 7, which I'm not going to have to use that because I have a wireless keyboard here with a touchpad. And hopefully I'm not gonna need a Cat5 cable or a USB Wi-Fi adapter, because all of that is on the motherboard. I have a Broadcom chip, a Wi-Fi adapter already pre-installed on this motherboard, and it's wireless. Okay, since I have all these components and requirements already, next I'm going to go in the next room to install the Raspberry Pi onto a display unit, which is a HD television with an HDMI jack.